it's time for Money Power Politics. Today, we are talking about something that impacts yours truly every day, the disconnect that directly affects American families. A recent article from The Atlantic asks the question, why does the school day end 2 hours before the workday? Preach! According to that report, the mismatch in schedules for parents and their kids, which is the 2 hours between 3 and 5 p.m., could be costing the United States economy $55 billion in lost productivity. Kara Voght joins me now. She wrote that article for The Atlantic. Kara, I can't tell you how many mothers sent that to me. I sent it to them. It was a wild circle because not only does school end at 3 p.m., if you are a working mother, there is basically no one out there for you to hire who wants a job for 2 hours to watch your kid. So walk me through the balance here. Is it a simple shift of changing schedules? Because when you look at school budgets, you could say, man, schools can't possibly to afford to stay open another 2 hours. But when I think about all of those families out there with a parent that can't afford to go to work.
That's a really good point. And I think that one of the people I spoke with for this story, Catherine Brown at the Center for American Progress, she talked a little bit about talking about town tax bases and thinking about, you know, if we had a program after school that pretty much everyone needed and everyone wanted to participate in, I'm sure we could try to offset a cost that way. The family I spoke with for this story, the Wenzels, they ended up having to pay somewhere around $300 to $400 a month in private childcare, and trying to find someone to watch their kid after school when they weren't able to get into an after-school program that was provided by their town. They were trying to find someone who taught yoga in the morning and who was flexible during those really weird hours of the day. So in terms of a solution, I think, you know, there's a lot of factors at play. I think a lot of schools have busing schedules they have to accommodate. They have to accommodate after-school programs like sports. But I think, you know, in terms of finding a financial solution, certainly something that takes into account the fact that most families need a solution is something that everyone should consider. Let's stay on that after-school program issue because according to the nonprofit group After School Alliance, there's 19 million kids in this country not enrolled in after-school programs because there's not enough spots. And if you think about what many of those programs are, sports, extra school help, creative arts, those are things that would really help so many kids. So is the issue we've got to find the funding for more programs? I think funding is certainly a big piece of it, and also space. The problem in the South Windsor town in Connecticut that I profiled for this piece, they had plenty of people who were interested in the program, plenty who were willing to pay. There wasn't enough physical space in the town to host these kids safely. The solution they ended up finding was they asked 2 local religious institutions if they would be able to take the kids and have a YMCA program operate out of them. So I think that costs for a lot of communities, especially communities in urban areas, it's a big concern. And I think that there's a lot of grant funding available that doesn't necessarily find its way to the right people. But also just the ability to have kids safely run around after school in a supervised place. I mean, there has to be a way to accommodate them. You also quote a researcher who believes this is contributing to the wage gap because so many mothers cannot go back to full-time work, and we haven't even factored in the fact that kids have off the entire summer. Exactly. And lost wages is a huge piece of this. In my piece, I mentioned that this is a problem for 75% of mothers work with school-age children, 75%, and trying to figure out a way to have a full-time job, a career, to advance in one's career, and to do all of the things that one wants to do as a parent, as a mother. Already I think it's a tremendous amount of stress. But I think a lot of families make the choice to have a parent not work. In half of families, even in 2018, that's a choice a lot of families make. I know for the family I spoke with this story, the woman chooses to skip her lunch so that she can accommodate picking her kids up off the bus and dropping them off at school. So I think that we're going to see a lot of people doing more and more to help accommodate parents in the future. Well, thank you so much. I know a lot of women who leave the workforce simply because childcare in this country is so expensive and they can't make enough money and at the same time pay someone to help care for their children after school. It's a complicated issue. I certainly don't know the answer, but I know that when people say, hey, it's just about maternity leave and now we've added paternity leave,
we got those kids at home for at least 18 years. It's more than 18 weeks.
Hey there, I'm Chris Hayes from MSNBC. Thanks for watching MSNBC on YouTube. If you want to keep up to date with the videos we're putting out, you can click subscribe just below me or click over on this list to see lots of other great videos.